There's no shortage of amazing 1-2 punches in women's basketball. And today, I wanted to highlight who I think the best duos in college are. I made sure to choose sets of players that have a lot of chemistry. I wanted to give credit to duos of players that consistently have good games together. Because there's plenty of cases where a player on a team has a monster game, but the second option isn't doing much in that game, or vice versa. The most important aspect I look for is how much the respective duo contributes to winning. Putting up stats is great, but I'm also looking for players that are taking their teams to heights that would be a lot harder to reach if they weren't there. I'll briefly go over honorable mentions. Audi Crooks and Addie Brown have been great this season, but they are losing way too many games for me to put them on here. They are in serious danger of not even making the tournament. TaNiya Rivers and Isaiah James are absolutely electric when they are on their game, but they're just a little too inconsistent for me. There's too many games where one is playing amazing, but the other is having an off night. Clara Strack and Georgia A. Moore just barely missed the cut. If this list was 11 spots, that's exactly where they would be. But now that's out of the way, I'll get into what I think the top 10 duos are. This is the first year Hailey Van Lith and Sedona Prince have played together, but you wouldn't be able to tell with the chemistry they have. Hailey Van Lith was able to revitalize her career after the disastrous showing she had when playing for LSU. And Sedona Prince is a major factor behind that. Their pick and roll game is one of the hardest to stop in all of basketball. You have a 6'7" big who can make easy layups inside or fade to a mid-range jumper. Hailey Van Lith has the ability to shoot and drive as well. She's averaging a career-high 6 assists per game because of how easy it is for Sedona Prince to score. Hailey Van Lith's defensive deficiencies are covered up by Sedona's elite rim protecting ability. They are without a doubt the best duo in the Big 12. The conference is not remotely equipped to deal with a 6'7" 24-year-old and a 23-year-old player with Olympic 3-on-3 experience. There's a lot of pairings you could choose for South Carolina. Tahina and Tessa, Chloe and Fagan, Raven and Bree Hall. But the reason I went with Joyce Edwards and Malaysia Fulwiley is because they have been the go-to takeover options. South Carolina has a lot of sophisticated motion to set up easy shots for their players. But Fulwiley and Joyce are players where you can give them the ball and just get out the way. They both come off the bench but are the number 1 and 2 leading scorers for South Carolina. Joyce Edwards is able to score with incredible efficiency, and Fulwiley speeds up the tempo for the entire South Carolina team when she checks in. On top of being great offensively, they can give it to you on the defensive end. South Carolina has the most balanced attack in the entire country, but these two players still find a way to stand out. They aren't putting up the crazy stat lines that other pairings on this list are because their usage rates and minutes are a lot lower. But it feels wrong to leave players on South Carolina off a list like this when they have been absolutely wrecking everyone since the UCLA loss. Madison Booker and Rori Harmon looked like a special combo last year, but we unfortunately got robbed out of a full season of them together because of Harmon's ACL injury. It took a while for Rori Harmon and Madison Booker to blend like they did at the beginning of last year, especially since Booker was playing the role of a ball-dominant point guard. But they are finally clicking together again. Madison was a mid-range assassin, but now her three-point shot has greatly improved. This has created so much more spacing for Texas, and for Rori Harmon in particular. Rori Harmon has one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the country. You combine that with the fact Madison was forced to play point guard last year, it's no surprise they have been the assist leaders for every Texas game this season. What I really like about this duo is they are just as good, if not better on defense as they are on offense. Texas is one of the best defensive teams in the entire country, and these two are a big reason for that. If Rori can stay healthy, this team is poised to make a deep playoff run. Ever since their horrible loss to South Carolina, this team has been on fire. The offensive firepower of Mikayla Blakes and Khamil Pierre cannot be overstated. They are the only team in the country that has at least 2 scorers averaging at least 20 points. I can't get mad at anyone for thinking Sarah Strong is the National Freshman of the Year, but Mikayla Blakes needs a lot more consideration for that award. She's been tearing the SEC apart. She's averaging 26 points in the most physical and athletic conference in the entire country. And don't even get me started on her 53-point performance versus Florida. If she's scoring like this as a freshman, who knows what she'll do with more experience. Pierre has had one of the most insane year-to-year jumps. She went from a backup bench player to a 20-10 player who is shooting over 50% from the field. She's an incredible low-post scorer as she has multiple post moves and is great at making fadeaway jumpers. You can't leave her open either because she'll knock it down with ease. The scariest part about Bueckers and Khamil is that they are underclassmen. Unless one of them unexpectedly gets in the portal, they are going to have at least 2 more years together after this season is over. They already have incredible chemistry together, and it's only going to get even better. Vanderbilt has constantly advertised that Bueckers and Pierre are the best duo in the entire country. I can't go that far, but I won't deny they are absolutely special. TaNiya, Latson, and Mikayla Timpson is what happens when you pair an unstoppable force with an immovable object. Latson is battling with Hidalgo for the leading scorer in college, and Timpson is at worst a top 5 defender in the league. On top of being a great defensive player, Timpson is a capable scorer and an amazing rebounder. She's averaging 17 and 11 with an incredible field goal percentage of 54%. Whoever drafts her in the 2nd or 3rd round is getting a massive steal. She's not the tallest player ever, but her athleticism and wingspan are why I think she will be able to contribute on the next level. With the way Latson is playing, she will easily be a top 3 pick in next year's draft. And if she hypothetically entered early, it's very possible she would be the 2nd pick and wouldn't fall any further than number 3. She's always been an incredible scorer, as she averaged over 20 points per game in every season they played. But now, she's made massive improvements to her defense and playmaking. It's very clear both of these players can play at a high level. The biggest question mark now is, can it lead to meaningful winning? They lost in the 1st round of the tournament last year and didn't finish in the top 25. They are too talented for something like that to happen again. There was a lot of questions about what LSU would look like without Angel Reese. Well, they haven't missed a beat, and Flaujae and Aneesah are a big part of that. Aneesah Morrow has been the perfect replacement for Angel Reese. She's leading the entire country in rebounds, she's anchoring the defense for LSU, and she's the go-to scoring option in the paint. Flaujae Johnson had a dominant tournament run last year, and she's picking up right where she left off. In my opinion, she's been a top 5 player in the country. She's at the top of everyone's scouting report and is still able to score with ease with a high level of efficiency. She's doing this while guarding the other team's best perimeter player. The motor she and Aneesah Morrow have is insane and makes them a nightmare to deal with. It doesn't matter who they are playing or what the score is. They are giving maximum effort 100% of the time. I would say this is the best defensive duo out of anyone on this list. There might be some players like Lauren Betts and Hannah Hidalgo who are better defenders individually, but as a tandem, Flaujae and Aneesah Morrow are just too insane. Paige Bueckers has consistently been one of the top players in college basketball. She had amazing chemistry with Aaliyah Edwards for the past few years, who is now replaced by another forward in Sarah Strong. To say Sarah Strong lived up to the hype of being the number 1 recruit in the country is an understatement. She's already one of the best posts in college basketball and one of the best players, period. Both her and Paige are amazing shooters, drivers, and have a high basketball IQ, and the result of that has been something special. Sarah and Paige lead in every single statistical category for UConn. It's weird seeing a UConn team this top-heavy, but Paige and Sarah have shown they can will them to victory in most of the games they play. They routinely combine for 40 points while dropping amazing dimes to each other and their other teammates. It's a shame we will only get 1 season of them playing together unless Paige decides to stick around for a 6th year for some reason, but I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. They are going to completely ravage the Big East, and they will be a dangerous pair in the tournament to deal with as well. Juju Watkins had one of the greatest freshman seasons ever, and Kiki had a monster breakout season during her junior year at Stanford. Even before she announced where she was going, when Kiki hit the portal, going to USC felt like a foregone conclusion. It just felt like it was always meant to be. They are both LA natives, and Kiki was going to make them legitimate title contenders. They are one of the highest scoring duos in the country. Their pick and roll game is elite. They can drive to the basket with ease, and in one-on-one coverage, there's not many people that can stop them. Anytime you have a player who will most likely be the number 1 pick, and another player that will potentially be a top 5 pick, it's safe to say you have a nasty combination. If this was the Kiki Iriafen that we saw at Stanford, I would have them number 1 on my list. She's playing well, but it doesn't feel like the same player for whatever reason. Regardless, They're an incredible 1-2 punch. Kiki Rice and Lauren Betts played well together last season, but this season it has been on a completely different level. I think they are by far the best guard-to-post duo in the country, and I think they are the second best duo overall. It's not just the fact they are undefeated, it's the fashion they are beating teams. They dog-walked a South Carolina team who had basically dominated every game since then. They cooked Maryland so bad, they dropped them 6 spots in the AP poll. And most recently, they obliterated an 8th-ranked Ohio State team. Lauren Betts is having one of the most dominant seasons we've seen from a center. She's averaging a 20-10 stat line with a ridiculous field goal percentage of 64%. This is while being constantly double and triple teamed by their opponent. It's very hard to see a world where her or Hidalgo don't end up being National Player of the Year. With the way they're playing, I honestly don't know how you can make an argument for anyone else. On the surface, Kiki Rice averaging 13 points and 4.5 assists doesn't look too special, but she only averages 9 shot attempts per game and is shooting 57% from the field and 38% from the three. And she's only averaging 1.7 turnovers per game. What makes her efficiency so impressive is that it doesn't mysteriously drop against top-level teams. When her team needs her in a big game, she shows up. She's not putting up 1,000,000 points against the weak teams in their schedule, but plays well when it counts. Even before the season started, I thought the narrative that Hannah and Olivia wouldn't be able to play together was complete nonsense. And they have proven all the doubters wrong. Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo are the best backcourt in the country, and it's not really close. They were incredible players individually, but they look even better together. Both of them are averaging career highs in points, field goal percentage, and three-point percentages. You probably noticed throughout the video I have clips of the duos on this list passing the ball to each other. It took a long time to do, but for Olivia and Hidalgo, I was done in 2 seconds. You could legitimately make an hour-long compilation of all the passes Hannah and Olivia have given to each other that have resulted in buckets. And this is with having a super stacked team and getting everyone involved in the process. Olivia Miles is far and away the best pure point guard in the draft. And Hidalgo is a top 2 scorer in the league, while also being a very strong candidate for National Defensive Player of the Year. The combined shooting, driving, passing, and defensive ability of these 2 players cannot be matched by anyone. This is the best college backcourt since Jackie Young and Arike Ogunbowale. And if Notre Dame makes a deep playoff run, this duo has to be in contention for all-time great backcourts. And if they are able to bring home a championship, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I fully understand if Olivia goes to the draft, but I would want nothing more than seeing another year of Hannah and Olivia together. But that's it for this video. This is one of my most favorite videos that I've worked on, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know who you think the best duos in college basketball are. As always, thanks for watching.